semi-finals of the lower brackets of GRANDFEST 1 by MEA x FEAI. And right now we're obviously at the Ardeng Trauma Hall. This is the LAN event itself. 8 teams have come to this, but few have already left, as I've already mentioned it's the semi-finals between MEA x Zohunt and DAB x IG, and both of these teams have been pushed down from the upper brackets, but they have climbed back again, and this is that final stretch before they meet Lafu Gabi, of course. So before that, of course, I'll have to introduce myself. I am Ray, the voice of this game, and joining me is going to be another brother, not Ash Cheesy, it's going to be Shinryu with me.
Hello everyone, and the games have been so intense. I know you guys have not been able to watch all of them, but the ones you have watched, you know how action-packed they were. And trust me when I say this game will be more than that, because if you are not entertained, I'll ask you again, are you ready to be entertained? Because this is the powerhouse MEX Zohunt taking on against another powerhouse that's gonna be DABXIG. And mind you, like Ray already mentioned, this is the lower bracket semi-final, the last chance, the last way for them to get the ticket to the lower bracket finals, where if they win, they're facing if they're winning, only then they're going to see Team Busan Esports in the grand finale. But it's a long way. It's a long way though, man. I can see the goosebumps actually. It's a long way though, and at the same time, it's a hard journey. So let's see how these teams will actually fare, Yuri.
Absolutely, because both of these teams, they are not strangers to each other. They are well aware of each other, so much so. IGN, one of the teams with the biggest legacy, right? We all know their name. And Zohunt, they are basically the same thing, but for the Mizo audience itself, because everybody knows who Zohunt is, the best team that you can get from Mizoram, and they've proved it, because unfortunately Seoul didn't make it, GSC didn't make it, but guess which Mizo didn't make it? It's Zohunt itself. And we are not that surprised, but we are happy that they're here finally. And with the ban phase right now going in, this is the best of 3 series again. If they screw up, they will only get one more chance. Same applies to IGN though, but sweeps after sweeps, can IGN maintain that streak? That's gonna be the main question, Shinryu.
Absolutely, because second chances are very rare to get, and if you lose the first game, that second chance would really mean that you are completely out of options. You have to bring your A game, you have to reveal your A's under your sleeve. So let's see what will happen. But Ray, you need to focus more on the draft, man, because the YSS, your Zushin as well as Baxi are getting banned, whereas from the side of Team IG, and they're opting to ban the CC, the Kimi as well as the 1-1. So really good heroes ban. But what do you think? What do you wish should be the first pick here? I mean, the wishes are not going to work anymore. It's going to be the Angel at this point, man.
Does this go into the hands of Family Problem? I wish not, because Family Problem, last time we played, literally the last match we just had, the Grok, it was absolutely, he flickered combo with the passive, the first skill, and then the ultimate right onto that wall. I want to see that kind of gameplay again. Unfortunately, this Papi Boom cannot bring that boom into the land of Dawn, so I would really appreciate if it goes into the hands of Valzote, aka Simple, right? But that will obviously come at a cost. This is just pure utility. You get the heal, you get the shield, you get the Oasis passive. That's it. No CC, no initiation, no vision, and you do not even get the range. So it is a trade-off that you will be willing to make. At what cost though? Because Dusty most likely gonna be the one taking on top and feeling Saktia. One thing, Alice has been, Saktia has been spamming that Alice. So
no more Alice though.
No more Alice. I just said bye-bye to the vampire lady. Even getting that, we have studied, we have done the homework for you and for us. But guess what?
There are answers, man. There are always answers. You pick up the Alice. You pick up the Alice. You have to give away the Grop. You have to give away the Harith. But again, one more thing, this Alice could be a flex, man. They can try and use it to him on the goal lane.
Because it's IGN.
Yeah, it's IGN.
Sakta is the one who playing in the XP, but IGN, which can do the craziest stuff, and so can Aaron the creator. Please, Aaron, I want to see one Alice go lane. But one of the things that Prime Harith, the Prime reminds me of the drink.
Experience.
And same for our hydration partner, which is of course in me itself. Shinryu, what's your favorite flavor? Ash did not give me a proper answer. Mine is of course the peach one. What is yours?
You stole my flavor, man. You were so so excited to try all the flavors. You took away mine, man. I didn't even get to taste it. But what did I get to taste?
What
I
did you
get to
get
taste the high-speed internet partner that was next gen, bringing the unstoppable connection.
I
making
am not
sure
even lying.
we are
I'm
well
not even
connected,
lying.
and the viewers all around the world, not only world, I mean India of course, but even if they're watching around the world, can see it, man.
Yep. Let me tell you, I just video called
Let
my
me tell you
friends.
something.
I video called my friends. They are abusing me. My
rises when I
internet is
give
so
the
bad.
word.
I wished I had connected to the
Sun
Wi-Fi,
rises
and
when
they
I
cut
give
the
the
call.
word.
They kicked me out of the call. Don't let it happen, guys. Of course, get the high-speed internet, of course, by next gen. So, anyways, we will right now focus because we're almost done with the last two bands. Are the only one remaining. Game 1 is where we'll get the pace, but unfortunately, it's not an Alice Gold lane. Most likely, either it's Witch or, of course, Mirio, the creator, taking it for himself on that EXP lane. Last two
Time
bands
to drop
popping
the
in.
beat of the flag.
What do you think it can be?
Time to drop the beat of
For
the
now,
flag.
it's gonna be the Joy. We can already see it on the screen, right? IGN will be opting to ban that hero, meaning that they want the dive heroes, at least in the mid lane, not the mid lane, but the jungle, to be up completely out of option for Zohan. That will push Dusty Mizo to something more of a utility, right? Because the YSS is already banned. You can see the Lancelot is picked. The next option he could have opted for would have been the CC, not the CC, but the Joy. But what else can he go for? He can go and pick up the Fredrin, but would you want to play Fredrin against a Lancelot, against a Alice, and against a Granger?
Most biggest, actually, the difficulty is the Alice, because she's gonna be on that blood-sucking mode non-stop, and when that happens, you're constantly getting slowed. For a hero like Fredrin who has only single dash, that is not something that you want, right? You want someone that can actually get away from the Alice as much as possible. Even if Fredrin dashes away, so can the Alice. Especially in the late game, it's only 6-second cooldown. You cannot make that trade-off, but of course, Zohunt, they go for the Gatot Kacha ban for none other than the Saujen.
Yeah, man. I think Zauzen has been the person who has been the most important person to actually, just try and counter those the engages that can come in. But with the Grok already being locked in, with the Angela being there, it already means that that is the mid lane duo for Zohunt, right? They're not trying to go for anything more for the tankier part. This is the front line. Yes, they can pick up.
Oh my god! What? Oh my god!
What?
They said let there be light, but no, I again said let there be darkness. It is not the Batman, it is the Hellcat itself showing up, which is 100% into the roaming position. Is it? If it's a roaming Hellcat, this is the debut in the whole, not just in the whole LAN event, this is, I think, the whole tournament of GRANDFEST 1 itself, because the Hellcat, that 2 in the semi-finals, IGN might be making either the biggest outplay in the draft itself, or maybe they're getting too confident. I am not sure, but of course Zohunt responds with, I mean, Dusty, he was kind of out of options, right? Joy is not there. He's going to be going with the Fredrin. Thankfully, Sakti are going to be going into that Arlot. But this Hellcat, if it's the Roam, I would love Roam, but I think it's Roam. It's Roam.
I think.
Oh my!
What are IGN thinking, man? Like, I don't know at this point.
I wish this was a glitch. I wish this was a glitch. Not in the sense that I dislike Valir, but how does the Valir work? Is it just to make sure?
Wait. It's actually a bit different. It's actually Team Zohan picking those heroes. It's not Team IGN. It's actually a reverse draft. We were just fooled by this the entire time. We were thinking, what is going on? So Zohan actually really...
We were giving credit to IGN, but no, it's Zohunt, who was the one with the most creative draft ever, and Sakti actually got the Alice. Okay, he is not letting that Alice go. Keep it up at it. Always respect your waifu, right? It is actually Zohunt that has popped up. Oh my god. Is that family problem? Is that family problem on the Hellcat? There's no way.
It could be, man. I think they are just switching things up. But this drop is looking really, really risky from Zohunt.
Family problem. Right?
I don't know if he's trying to bring problem for himself or for the opponent at this point, man.
Family problem, he's being known by for pick off heroes, right? He's like, I'm going to pick them off by literally taking it down. Literally killing him is going to be the main thing that they're going to be doing. That is such a risky draft that they have put in place. I get the Valir, right? There's like 3 frontline heroes, you push them back, but you get less amount of...
You know what? You said let there be darkness. You should give torchlights to the side of Team IGN to find their way, man. Because I feel family problem might cause a lot of problems for the side of Team IGN, because the Angela is really vulnerable, and so is the Harith. once he has used the dashes, or if he does not have the Purify, if Family Problem is going with the Petrify, it's an easy shutdown. Very easy shutdown. And if they want to go aggressive, there is the Valir, and he also has the immunity onto his ulti, right? It's more likely the 1-1 with the second skill. But the problem is, you have to press it at the right timing. If you just mess up the timing, it'll be really difficult. But ladies and gentlemen, guess what?
Let's go.
This will be the lower bracket semi-finals. You're watching live from the Ardeng Tuama Hall, right from Aizawl Mizoram. This is the match between Team DABX IGN taking on against Team MEX Zohan for the slot into the lower bracket finals, hoping they can make their way onto the grand finale. This is gonna be myself, Shinryu, and I'm joined by Ray for this game.
What's up?
And we'll see how this game turns out. Best of 3 it is, so get ready to rock.
Absolutely, and with it, they've already made their rotations from both of these teams. The mid lane contention, it is very interesting, Shinryu. First of all, because Angela, she has really poor wave clear, but they compensate with this Grok on the hands of Xiaozhen. At the same time, like the Valir and the Hellcut, this is such an unsynergetic combination. They are basically independent heroes that are going to be doing independent things. The main thing that Valir will be providing is going to be the crowd control and HPB's damage. And Hellcut, his main thing, of course, in the hands of Family Problem, his main thing is to pick off this Angela before she can provide that shield and heals to the rest of the team, because you don't want Herrick to be having a permanent shield when he already has the passive from, of course, the chrono dashes. So because of that, I think that is their plan, but let's see what happens.
Absolutely, man. This is a very high risky draft, but if it's executed properly, it's going to be really difficult. So let's see how they are actually planning this out. 25 seconds for the first turtle. Both the teams are trying to make a rotation happen. Mid lane though, a bit of a skirmish, while Zotia is actually taking a bit of poke, but he's okay. Top lane, 3 members on the side of Team IGN with Zohan trying to lock them down, but again Sakti actually locked him. 2 members getting taunt, getting a lot of poke. There should be the Princess Wrath, but missed out. The flicker saving his life, making sure he still survives, but Xiaozhen is already there. I think Alice should be okay to back off, but he's not level 4 yet first, and he won't be there for this turtle. So Team IGN can pretty much take this for free.
I think they can take this for free easily, mainly considering the fact that Dusty, where is he? He's on the top trying to get the Harriet for himself. Level 3 and the creator, but whoa, that's a level 4 Angela before the gold laner. There's some good rotations right there into the hands of Witch, getting that wave management. But still, just like I said, the turtle goes without any contestant coming in from the side of Zohunt. And right now they're going to be taking the purple buff away as well, while the mirror would be happening at the same of Dusty Mizo for the purple buff. So they make an equal amount of trade-off right here. But let's just see. That was a close one, but I think they will take some time.
Yeah, I mean,
before we get the first blood.
I feel they were too keen on actually just taking on the gold laner. That's why they left the objective take completely to the side of Team IG, and they were able to make Saktia recall and get the advantage, but at the same time there will be the Dark Rises up to the top lane. They're trying to find a shutdown. Family Problem is low, but Xiaozhen is there to provide the front lining or the sandbag for his team. However, the members are pretty low. I can see they're trying to stay under the turret in the safer ground, but can they? For how long will be the question, because the 3 members are already lurking in the vicinity of the first tier turret. They're waiting for a visibility of the members of Team Zohan to just come out, and they might probably find an engage, but there is the wall from Grok. Dusty is the target, but he can actually get out hard on the top lane. There will be Family Problem taking really low, forced to flicker out, and there is Prime still trying to dish out the damage with the deadly, no, not the deadly Sonata, but the death, wait. The Sonata, right?
Yeah, it is the Sonata, right? And he plays the Sonata for the death of his enemies. But right now, the score still remains 0-0. Really well-disciplined gameplay. Almost 4 minutes and no first blood yet. But this might be the contention zone. Sakti over here. Look at Mirio, the creator. He might just go in. But right now, there's the Angela on top. But at the same time, Sakti is trying to survive for a little bit. But I don't think that's a good decision, because look at that. He is trying to teleport, but he was stunned. And respect, he actually gets kind of outplayed. But look at that. Oh, flicker play doesn't really going to be mattering. Sakti gets taken down, first blood secured, and with it they'll take a little bit of a step back. Maybe go for a Family Problem. I don't think so. They will just wait out a little bit.
I think that was one of the most longest first blood that was going on.
Yeah,
it's almost like
4 minutes 20.
4 minutes, man. So this will be, but okay, Dusty gets taken down. Mirio, the creator, this time creating the opportunity for Team IGN to take another turtle onto the mid lane. There is a Zaman Force as well as the Synchro Fission. You can see the Chrono Dash is going in and out, but the turtle will be again secured by Team IGN, making sure they have that 1k goal lead on towards their side here, Ray.
Yeah, and with it right now, the score sitting at 2-4-0. They even have like what, 2 turtles back to back. That is 4 positive trades that they have made so far, and they're already trying to get that trade off onto the macro as well. Thankfully, the shields have been helping them, you know, save the turrets. But right now, Zohan have to respond because there's no more shields. And I do think with the positioning of the Grok right now, I think they want to go. Oh, even Mirio is there. Concede play right there. I think it might just happen. Oh, family problem. Onto the other side. Gets a prime, but he's going to be flickering away. Dusty Mizo though. He's looking for something. Can he find someone? Dusty, you better watch out. 50% HP down. But Creator will create something disastrous. But flicker play after flicker play. Here comes family problem running around, but they don't get a kill. They just get the turret.
They get the turret, that's a good lead, but again, the fight does not stop. Their family problem is getting stuck by the 1000, but again, there will be the dashes flicker out from family problem is still okay. Hard guard still available. There is a wall, no wild charge. That is not wild charge, that is actually the tectonic charge. Not available onto the Grok, but they can still engage the final slash. Getting 2 members locked in. They've already taken on the fight. There is a phantom execution going out, but again, you can see Sakti out there goes out. Final place the strat not really connect. The final slash again on the cooldown. Had it been there, they could have taken another engage, but unfortunately, Team IGN has to back off from that place. The next turtle, 35 seconds away though.
And I think this turtle will also go on uncontested, mainly because of the fact that they're really behind right now. Not in a sense a lot, but 2,000 gold lead into the hands of IGN. Under 6 minutes, which is pretty massive when you consider both of these teams have been playing the well-disciplined game usually. But into the bottom lane, there we go, and the creator comes in with a damage. Sakti might get taken out. That is nasty ultimate from Saulian, gets that initiation, and because of that, I think Family Problem will get taunted, gets taken down, and with it, they will lose 2 of their members right away. Zohan right now at a pickle. That bot line turret might also get taken down, but at the same time, Dusty is trying to get some macro on top. But look at Mirio, he sees it, and he will stop it, put a seize into it.
Okay, this hard guard already up, but it's really early on. But the turtle this time is again being taken by Respect. So this should be 3-0 objective, neutral objective take for the side of Team IGN. They have full control of the objectives. However, the only turret that has been pushed so far are the side from only 3 turrets actually. Mainly the first tiers have already been taken down. So that means IGN, they have full control of the front side of the map. The mid lane, second tiers are still standing healthy. But again, there's a probability of another engage. Sakti is onto the run. He's being chased down. Respect will get a bit of range for him, but he cannot really stop him down there. But again, Dusty trying to go out. Final slash from Mirio is on towards Dusty. He gets taken down. He gets locked in. Sakti is trying to run out. But Team Zohan will go for the defensive. They will not want to find any more engages getting from the side of Team IGN. They know they are behind in terms of gold. They should not be fighting at this point.
Absolutely, and you know, despite the fact that they're really behind, like 5,000 gold lead, right? I do think they have not lost it all. Usually under 8 minutes, if you're so behind, into considering the fact that you're losing all the tier 1s, I do think Prime... Oh, that beautiful nasty engage swapping in the mid lane tier 2. But look at Respect is the one actually falling, and this is what I was talking about, because Prime, he comes in, but and the creator, he says no, double kill secured, but oh, there's a shutdown coming in, and he will slay Valzote. And with it, Sakya still going in strong though, and the creator, better watch out, but look at Lao Dusty! Triple kill actually goes into the hands of Prime, but shut down from Saujen, hopping in here into the hands of Granger Shinryu.
Oh my god, what a tectonic charge coming out from his side, man. This is so good. This is so amazing. The turnaround from, you know, the probability of the turnaround from the side of Zohan stopped by Zausen with that tectonic charge, making sure Prime gets taken down. Prime gets completely out of the picture of that team fight. So right now, Zohan, despite getting those 3 kills, did not really find too much of the conversion in the map. They have 0 turret taken so far in the almost 9 minutes of the game. However, IGN, they have a very solid lead. Despite giving 3 kills, they are able to maintain the goal lead at the 3k. But this means they can still kind of find a bit more conversion for the next slot, which is just 5 seconds away here.
Yeah, and I just want to compliment Saujen. Like, what are those initiations each time around? He is able to find Zohan in positions they would not want to be in, but they are. And each time around, they keep on falling down like dominoes, because this is a bowling ball, maybe a racking ball that is in the land of Dawn, which is the Saujen itself. And I'm not sure how long they can, you know, stand guard of him, because he's level 10. He's ahead of Saktia, who's supposed to be the EXP laner with the most EXP, but it's just not happening. But we also have to look into the one person. It's Prime. Despite being so behind, who kills all him.
Yeah, man. I feel right now Prime as well as Mirio both are the main playmakers for both of these teams. You can see Respect again finding another objective take. That's gonna be the Lord, first Lord of the game. And this means they have the Lord advantage with this. We can push in, we can find more success in taking down the holy defenses at least. If more, they can take down the inhibitors, but it seems a bit far more likely to happen. But at the same time, the engage needs to be really on point from Thousand as well as from
Yeah, I
Mirio.
agree.
They need to synergize so well so that the Harith as well as Respect can find the angle to go in and deal maximum amount of damage to take most number of enemies that they can, because Zohan, if they are not really put in check, I feel both Prime as well as Family Problem can find an end to this game, man.
Yeah, one of the things that they really, I feel like Witch is gonna be caught in a pickle. You see, this is one of the things that Angela runs into trouble, but I think we can discuss that later, maybe into the next match, because it might be the end coming in soon, because IGN is knocking on the doorstep of MEA x Zohan right now. Here comes the Dark Knight, falls in, they're gonna be pushing the pressure, but look at Saktia, goes into the back, and here's the ultimate. They put the pressure, but Mirio creates that opening, and Prime immediately gets taken out by and the creator, but they're still going to be going in. Saktia gets out of the danger, but it's gonna be enough. No, Valzotti will also be falling in right now. So does Saktia, and only one person remaining, none other than Dusty Mizo himself. But is it going to be enough against the whole tyranny of IGN? 5 members alive, but here comes, okay, can they do it? That's what really want to be making the play, but I don't think it's gonna be possible. Dusty Mizo gets taken down, and Family Problem left all alone. He cannot do anything as IGN is gonna be taking the game number 1.
Game number 1 for the side of Team IGN. They're starting with the banger. They had full control of the game, making sure Zohan cannot find a way back. Yes, there was a moment for Prime, but it was completely shut down by Zauzen. And this will be the end for the first game. We'll see how it goes out for the second match. Ladies and gentlemen, do stay tuned. We'll be coming back really shortly for the next matches to be played really soon. This is the lower bracket for the MEX FEAI GRANDFEST 1. Stay tuned and we will be back.
Coming back into of course, the second game of this best of 3 series between MEA x Zohan versus Dab x IGN in this GRANDFEST won by MEA itself with FEAI. And with it, of course, this is game number 2 of this best of 3. And we were already discussing it with, of course, myself, Ray, and I'm joined by Shinryu. We discussed it, right? The fact that if this is a sweep, Zohan will have to say goodbye to their home turf. They're not going away from Mizoram. They're staying here, obviously, to witness. But we are obviously wishing for that game 3. But can it happen? Because IGN, sweep after sweep after sweep, will make it happen.
Tell me which team wants to stay in the audience, man, for these games. They want to be there on the stage to play it out, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can see Zohan, they are being pushed to the limit right now. They have been already pushed down to the lower bracket. This is where their journey can probably stop. We have already said goodbye to a couple of teams. We have seen DNS losing, we have seen GAC losing, big, small, big. There was Soul, and then finally more teams will be going as we are moving to much closer to the grand finale, right? It is sad, it is unfortunate, but it is
There
the
can only be
inevident
one
truth,
winner.
right? There can be
got
only
one
one
up
winner,
in my
and
side.
everyone
Team
else
is banned.
have to bow down to the new kings or the the entire lineup that we're seeing. There are no queens here,
Great
queens, I mean,
inventions.
but the kings will be there. So let's see Team Aijun if they can make the upset happen, because I think Zohan, they have been proving a lot of things, but this time the draft from the last game was really risky. We did talk about it, the Hellcut as well as the Valir. Yes, it kind of works on paper, but in terms of execution, we did see it was not giving the most benefit or the most reward that they were looking for.
Exactly, because it's a gamble that they were putting in, and sometimes gambles are less about 50-50, and it can even be a 75-25, and it obviously was 75-25 for the favor of Dab X IGN, and because of that, I think that game one was, at first, it felt like it was very well disciplined, right?
Yes.
We did not see a first blood until 4 minutes 20 seconds until Saktia
Castle.
fell down.
Welcome
So
to my
it was very
castle,
well disciplined, but
my
I think the
friends.
discipline came because
No
Zohan was
protection
hesitant,
from
because I think they
rocks.
wanted
Need
to
no
surprise
protection
IGN,
from
but
the
they were the
rain.
ones who kind of, were
Butterflies
confused. Like, do we,
born by
how
thy
do we
wish.
execute it to the
Guided.
max?
Butterflies
Yes, we want to
born
take
by
Witch
thy
down,
wish.
but Witch,
Guided
he was
by
level 4
lantern's
before
light.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Imagine the amount of rotation he's doing, but I want Zohan to win for some reason. Suddenly, I feel
I want to
like
see a
IGN
3-man game in series, man.
I will. I want to see Zohan. They know how to get my favor.
They
and right now-
definitely do, because you
Yeah.
know they are getting Zushin this time. We did not talk about the ban so much. I think it's the same things, right? We
It's
have
the
seen
same
time and
things.
again. There is a CC, there's a Kimi as well as the
Mirio,
Grok.
which
Yeah,
sounds
man.
it. There we go.
Yeah, and this side the 1-1 is a deserving ban. You do not want
I
the
shall
other team
find
to
my
get
own.
Fells, okay.
1-1.
And this is for basically for anyone.
Dusty, man.
Dusty.
Let's say Dusty.
Magic
That's
Okay,
Dusty.
so
My
Zushin is a good
back.
opener to answer that
Magic
back,
is my
which
life.
will pick up the Farsa, and this time they will deny the Harith towards Prime. That's a good option, of course, but
They
at the
do
same
it
time,
twice.
yes,
did
they
not
do
give
it
him
twice, but I feel the range wise or the damage output wise, Team Aijun, they have the upper hand.
Yeah,
But
they do.
in terms of control of the mid lane, as well as how well they can actually gatekeep the entire objective takes or the rotation around the map, will be really into the side of Team Zohan so far. But however, you have to maintain the rotation, right? I think Farsa can really use the wings by wings to avoid that disruption that the Zushin can bring.
Absolutely, because Zushin is one of those mages that can even make a flank due to the fact that she has a Crimson Beacon that can go into the back line, right? If the
Yeah.
Farsa
Check
tries
this
to open
bridge
those wings
on the
far with
case,
feathered airstrike,
24/7.
the bombardment might not last long enough, because
My
Zushin
kiss
is one of those mages,
will
and
grant
so is, I think,
See value in me?
there is obviously going to be someone that is going to
My
be going for
kiss
flank. No, it's not
grants you
him, but it is him,
immortality
not him.
or
It's the
death.
her. Of course, Saktia gonna be coming up with, of course, the blood-sucking vampire, right? Alice gonna be showing up. So they have two people that can go and disturb this Farsa, but that's which he got magic.
I feel Zauzen, if he gets the Kacha here, it would be really good. I mean, it can get a bit punishment from the Zushin. However, if you think the overall draft, I think that can be a really good hero. Otherwise, they can still go for the Kalea if they like. But I don't think so. That would be the very best option. Okay, Mirio still wants to prioritize his Lapu Lapu. I think it's a good hero, but there's a lot depending if they want to flex this. There is no flex possible because they have already have the Harith. It's going to the EXP. So both the creators, they're getting their heroes. One of the signature heroes, I would say. We have seen them playing these heroes a lot of the times, and I feel they can actually create a lot of opportunities with that. However, Zohan, they are also getting some of their most valuable heroes that they're looking for in this draft.
Always
Absolutely,
on
and
the
Shinryu,
team
I gotta
is always
ask
on
you
the
something,
way.
okay? Like, I love Zushin, okay?
Yeah.
That is like, wow, that is saying like milk is white something, right? But you see, I want to have a printed t-shirt for her. What do I do about it? Because people don't realize that I'm her husband.
Muscle
I'll
of
have to let them
iron.
know.
I mean, you have a background for her. It's about
Yeah,
time you get
but-
the print shirt,
Yeah, because I can't carry that background here. What do I do?
I mean, you can contact the Click Print Studios, of course, for that.
Oh.
They can print anything for you. What do you want? You just want a T-shirt? Do you
Like-
not want a poster? Do you not want a cup with the Zushin?
I
Tell me
will
what
get
you want, man.
experience
You can
the
get
youth
anything,
of
right? So you
suffering.
can contact them, of course. Huge shout out to the Click Print Studios for being our partner, for being our sponsors at the same time. As casters, we really feel so proud wearing the jerseys here,
Yeah.
and also rocking their entire printing press, because we have seen how they work, right?
Yep,
So
we've
beautiful
seen
to
how
look and
they
how
work.
efficient they are.
Is
They do it so
not
fast.
minutes in for
So
a
hey,
real
I
fight.
hope Zohan, they can find a really fast solution to this draft, man.
Absolutely, because there comes the bans. It is targeted to, of course, 1 to Prime and 1 to Family Problem. They do not want any more flanking from the hands of the Matilda itself. And on the other side, Zohan, they smell Saujian cooking, and he 3 bans dedicated to Saujian. This guy.
I told you, he should have picked the Garud Kach out here, or
He
maybe
should
the
have.
Kalea, because if he does not, he will get targeted.
Horse open. Do you think horse?
No, not
Thorns
against
remain.
Zushin, man.
Should
Yeah,
petals
horse
not
is
too
bad
fan
against
of
Thorns
Zushin.
remain.
You don't.
Should
Okay.
petals fall.
Respect shows up with the Lancelot. So that is going to be again. The last time the Fredrin was able to really disable the Dusty
Yeah.
Mizu's Lancelot. So this time the turns have tied. Tables is changed. So will it change the outcome? We are not sure. I would love to change the outcome because Zushin is there, right? But last 2 picks coming in from Zohan. This is where Prime can show IGN what does he have in his arsenal. I'm expecting a Nathan. What do you think?
I feel they need something which has a escapability, because there's a lot of dive you can see with the Parsa. They can have a bit of range.
Oh,
they need a little bit of way out.
showtime.
Yes, the Claw does work. I was thinking more like not the Bruno, but maybe I don't know, like what other heroes can really have a good escape with the marksman? I think the Claude is the only one, right?
Claude
Apart
is
from
the
that,
only one.
there are not too many heroes that have a very huge
To be
dash.
fair, Moskov was open, but
Too risky. I mean, it does work in the leaning phase, but against the Farsa, I think the range will be a very
no,
big
actually,
problem.
you know, in a early game, he really gets
Bullied. He gets bullied, man.
He gets bullied extremely, and this is respected Mirio. Like after what Mirio did last game, I don't think you'd want to have a marksman with shorter range that can get the pressure coming in from the other side. So of course, because of that, that is going to be their main response with it. But last pick popping in from the side of Dab X IGN.
What are they looking for, man?
Okay, despite the fact that we just discussed that 4 legs is not good against, of course, this nice legs Zushin, they still pick it at a risk of the fact that we just discussed. Saujian, can you make that?
I mean, I still feel the Hylos is a 50-50 in this draft. Yes, they have a lot of engaged tools. They have slowdown, they have burst damage, they have the stuns too. However, in the longevity of this game, it's very, very difficult to actually try and find a solution to stop the Claude, to stop the Kadita from going in and dashing out. I mean, going in and bursting the members down. So what will they do is a very big question. At the same time, we'll see how this game turns out. You can see the draft, ladies and gentlemen. If you want, you can give down your prediction. You can give down your thoughts about this game. This could be a very well 2-0 for Team DabX IGN to go for the clean sweep and proceed towards the lower bracket finals, or Zohan might go for an upset here. Just try, not upset, but try to go for a miracle play here. Let's see what will happen. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are watching live from the Ardeng Tournament Hall. Aizol Mizoram. This is going to be the second game in this best of 3 series. Team IGN, they have 1 point lead. Team Zohan, they are 0. They have to go for a sweep, I mean reverse sweep here. Let's see how it goes on. And this is, like, you know, this is the last resort for them. If they lose, they will be out. So IGN, they would want to win. Team Zohan, they are more desperate than them. Let's see how it will turn out. My name is Shinryu. I'm gonna be caster and I'm joined by Ray for this
Hello.
game.
Of course, we are gonna be joining for this whole series itself, and of course this time around we're gonna be witnessing if this is going to be a matter of Zohan staying in the competition, because they're the ones on the back foot. They're the ones who do not have the driving seat. But you know who can have the driving seat?
I mean, it is of course any team who has a car or maybe
Yes.
a vehicle owned by CK Hyundai. So we'll see if they can find a successful, wheel under their family. So again, we are a huge shout out to CK Hyundai, and also we cannot forget our big sponsor.
Absolutely.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Is
Can
Vista
you?
Games? What do you mean you don't know? Huh? But
Of
hey,
course,
hey.
of course, they are the one responsible for, of course, all of this, not just all of the community tournaments, but this LAN event itself
Absolutely,
as well.
man.
So of course, without it, we wouldn't have all these flashy skins on the screen. So because of that, we have to thank them, of course, and obviously you guys should be thankful as well, because without it you wouldn't have tournaments itself. But anyways, with it, the score sits at 0-0. I want to see if the first blood will pop up a little bit earlier, because of course this time they have the assassin, they have the
Yeah.
aggression, they have Mirio on a Lapu. But is it enough? We'll soon find out. Turtle comes up at 3, 2, 1. There we go.
Yeah, man, both the teams would want to go for a setup. You can see the level 4 has not been reached for some of them. There is, of course, Mirio, the creator, starting it off. Team IGN will be the first one to actually go there and find a way to take this game to a different place. But at the same time, the turtle fight is already there, and Team IGN, they're the first there, but Team Zohan will be the one also to actually just try and contest. Let's see how this fight will go on, but this seems like Team IGN will be the one to find the turtle here. Respect gets the retribution, and Team IGN will find a kill, not kill, but it's actually Team Zohan finding the shutdown on towards Zauzen, and they are trying to just go back in and steal away the purple buff from Lancelot, and Respect is still there, does not have the retribution, so this will be a grand theft purple that they are looking at. But at the same time, Team IGN, they need to find some kind of conversion rate here, and they will, let's see what they will do.
Anyways, with it, of course, we're going to be seeing the 1-for-1 score, and despite that, obviously, the side of team, what is happening, you know? I feel like Mirio, he needs a little bit more aggression right there, but still, I do think this, since the game is quite a little bit equal, right, 1-for-1, I do think, I'm curious about one thing, you know, that since they have the first blood a little bit earlier, they can go for that back foot, they can go for that aggression, they can go for those early kills that they really wanted last game, but they didn't get to have it, right, Shinryu? But anyways, this is a little bit of that break phase, you know? They're just regrouping a little bit, they're waiting for a while, and we'll just soon find out enough what they will do. But anyways, let's just see, eh?
We need to see, man, but at the same time, you know, it's very early on into the game. There's nothing too decisive that we can see, so it's still okay. I feel both the teams, they need to find some farm around the map. They need to get those, you know, items that they need necessarily very much are, you know, the power spike items to actually try and go for better contention, try and go for a better conversion rates from those skirmishes to team fights, as well as, you know, from the skirmishes to more of those objective takes. That is very important because the structures will be standing really strong. So let's see what these two teams will actually decide, how they want to span around the map. In terms of economy, it's not too far away, but again, Zauzen wants to go in for an engage. He gets lifted off by Zushin, but at the same time, you can see while Zotia, he does not want to prolong that team fight. At the same time, Respect is still trying to find the farm. Last time he lost the purple buff, this time he wants to keep it to himself. At the same time, the second turtle is already up, and Team IGN, they're a little bit far away, but I think Respect should find the angle enough. At the same time, there will be the creator. There's a better airstrike. At the same time, this turtle will be going in the hands of thus Team Mizo. He finds the retribution, but there is the glorious pathway from Zauzen for the defense. Team IGN, despite losing the turtle, they do not give any kill to Zohan.
No kills yet. This is surprising, and this does give me a little bit of a deja vu, but Prime almost gets taken out, but uses the flicker. Saujen does find him, but of course he's a tank, not enough damage to really take him down. This was actually impressive, you know. This does give me deja vu. Why? Because I know there is no 1-1 kills, it's not 0-0, but still 5 minutes in, the second kill has yet to be taken from either of these teams. This goes to show they keep on going for that disciplined play again and again. These two teams respect each other, literally, because there's respect. No, it's not just because of that, because they're such, you know, kind and humble people. But talking about kind and humbleness, you cannot show that in the arena, you cannot show it in the battlefield. And let's see who's the one that charges up that aggressive, that violent rage to make sure they can take it down, because of course we have the bravest fighter with the Aaron the creator. Is he getting zoned in? Valzoti, better watch out that positioning. And will they be going? Because look at Chaotian, he gets sounded, but at the same time Witch has to reposition himself. Alice, the combo comes in and looks like this is gonna be a kill on the other side as well. Blazing Duet popping in, Witch does get taken down, but at the same time look at Mirror the creator popping in. Respect does get taken down. Prime, at the same time there's so much happening throughout the map, all top and bottom. There's the fight still going in, and the creator doesn't really have the ultimate to dish out the damage, but still they keep on going. Saktia better watch out as well.
Oh my god, there will be Saktia falling in the hands of Respect. Killing spree for him, and Team IG, they find 3 kills, so does Team Zohan. Both the teams, they have an equal amount of kills on the scoreboard. However, in terms of gold, there's a slight lead for Zohan. However, no turrets have been taken down so far, so the conversion rate is not there yet. We are just looking at the 3.5 minutes in, but on the middle lane, there will be the shutdown on towards family problem. At the same time, there will be the Glad Shaker, as well as the Raging Slash taking down Walzotia. and this should give Team IGN the access towards the mid lane. Despite losing the objective control, they are winning on the team fight and able to open up the map a lot more, and it seems like the turtle is also up, so they should be making their way for this turtle, but at the same time Prime will find a first tier down bot, so a turret for a turret, blood for blood. Both the teams, they are still in it.
They're still gonna be in it because this is gonna be the last turtle fight. If they delay it, it will just become the Lord itself, right? Evolution. But do they want that to be happening? Maybe, maybe not, because well, turtle does give it the most amount of this one, especially Sakya though gets a lot of damage, but thankfully that's a full tank build Alice right now. That meta that has shifted into, oh, respect, he milks it, but it's not gonna be enough. He gets shut it down, but Sakya, and with it at the same time Zushin in the back line, and there's Sakya still fighting in as well. They're gonna be dishing out the damage. Shaojin still wants to go back, gets lifted up into the air, and most likely gonna get taken down by the Crimson Beacon, but no, Sakya's the one. But on the other side, what was just happening? Which gets taken down by Dusty Mizo right here. 6-6 score. Zohan is showing that they are equal in favor, and they want to equalize the score 1-1 because IGN is 0-1. They want to obviously make it into a game number 3.
The gears have been shifted, the driver seats have been changed, Team Zohan are in charge. They are making sure that they can control this game. The momentum is completely in their side. The tempo is so good that they are able to punish Team IGN for this overextension or those, very messy team fights that they are forced them into taking. At the same time, there will be the lane pressure onto the mid lane. The first tier already been down. The mid lane's first tier is still up. The feather airstrike will clear out the minions. So far, it's like 2 for 2 turrets. So this means again a stalemate, but 1k goal is definitely in the hands of Team Zohan. Sakya wants to go in. There's a glorious path, a lot of damage there. You can see there is a lot of damage being placed on Sakya, but it's still okay with the teams. They're not taking any kind of damage after that. No casualties from the team fight. They're still trying to play in a very safer zone. They are not trying to give free kills because it's 6 for 6 kills in 8 minutes. That means they are trying to play for the objectives a lot more, because if they are taking fights unnecessarily, that means giving free gold, and the lead will even broaden from the side of Zohan if the kills are going to the Zohan. If Team IGN finds, it's well and good.
Absolutely, the game is pretty much equal, right? But not talking about equal. Look at the BMI. Oh my god! The creator wanted to create, but the flicker play was right there. There's his Alice going in as well as the Crimson Beacon, and which wants to take out the damage, and the creator will soon join at the fray. But look at the wrath. Respect will get the kill onto the family problem. Look at the BMI and the blazing duet will take down Respect. Velzotti will secure the kill onto his board. The score still remains 7-7. Turrets 2 for 2. This just goes to show these teams are built equal.
They're built equal, and this time there's no build different because they are both trying to do the same thing, take member after members, and this is the thing, right? It's very close game for both the sides, and the Lord can be in anybody's hand. You can see the jungle difference, like, not the jungle, but the level between the jungle is pretty much the same. 12 level for Musty Mizo, 12 for Respect, so that means the damage from the Retribution will pretty much be the same unless they take the buffs, and they are still looking for a bit more pickoffs before they take the Lord, and that's really viable. That's really actually probably the right thing to do, because they need to have the member advantage in this objective takes, because that will give them the window to have a clear win. At the same time, you can see Family Problem will pick up the Divine Glaive, so that means he is going for full penetration with those boots, the Genius Wand as well as the Divine Glaive. But again, Sakya gets engaged on. There is Zausen at the same time. He will get an immobilization on the back line. You can see there is the Kadita, but he might get a bit of taunt, but he's able to get out of the rough waves. But it's still okay. How long can he run? Medio is trying to go in for the rest strike, but that's the end of line for Family Problem. You can see Rusty Mizo going in, but he has taken a lot of damage. The Phantom Execution will not connect. Dusty is onto the run. He does not have his teammates supporting him. Then that should be the end of him. Zausen finds the shutdown. IGN should find this slot.
No retreat. No retribution into the hands of MEA X Zohan right now, so that should translate to a free Lord, but it does not because there's the pressure. But look at Velzotic is going to be pressing the pressure from Aaron. The creator uses the Crimson Beacon to get out of there, but Medio is still also looking. Comes in with the previous fighter. He does dodge it out, but it's not going to be enough. Zushin gets taken down, and Sakya does as well into the hands of Aaron, the creator. The two creators into the hands of IGN, creating those windows, those advantage gaps that you need, and with it, they're going to be ahead with 4 kills. Shinryu at 11 minutes.
Oh my god, man, 11 minutes this time. IGN again, the driver's seats is like anybody's place. Sometimes it's team Zohan, sometimes it's team IGN, but this time IGN have a very good control. They have a lot of advantage. They're marching with the minions, trying to take down the holy defense on the top lane. They have already been successful in doing that. The mid lane second tier is still there, and I feel IGN might just find another conversion. There is the feather airstrike. Dusty Mazo is trying to just juke it with walking left, right, up, down, wherever can find the damage to be not hitting you. But at the same time, Lord is not even near the vicinity of the turrets of Team Zohan, so there should be a lot push that IGN are going in for. Let's see if they can crack open the base, because the holy defense is already down. We are in the 12-minute mark, and the immobilization coming from Zaktia. There is the family problem with the roughness of the backline, but not enough damage. You can see 1000 being brought up, and there is a lot of damage also going on. There's a big word from Prime, and he's trying to take somebody down, but and the creator will take him down at the same time. There is the featheration back up, there is a lift off from Valzoti, and Virio, the creator, will lose his life. IGN needs to back off.
1-for-1 trade-off. The gold laner gets traded off for the EXP lane of IGN itself, and such a win. Cameraman showing the Zushin again and again. Keep on doing that, of course. But anyways, talking about it, the score, right, 8-12. It's almost 13 minutes, only 20 seconds away. 4,000 gold lead into the hands of DAB x IGN, and for them, this is the main win. They win it, they get into the finals. I would just call it the grand final qualifier, right? Because that's, if they win that one, they will get into the grand finals. But of course, we can talk about Lafukabi later, because they're present. There stands a huge mountain, and that mountain is, of course, MEA x Zohan itself, trying to stop them. But there's a Trinity build done. But Divine Click for Aaron, he's basically 4 items in full build. Technically, he can get a little bit more sustain, of course, but still. Let's look at the mid laners, right? Wishing Lantern and Glowing One going for full damage amp. Meanwhile, Witch goes for a little bit of extra shield. It's not the maybe the mid lane we should keep an eye on. It's the gold lane, because look at Aaron, 9.5k gold lead compared to only 7.8.
And if you're looking at one creator, you need to look at the other creator, right? And you also need to look at his opponent. That's going to be Saktia, both of the EXP laner doing an absolutely phenomenal job.
He's almost 4. He's almost done with the 4. Is it? No. I'm sorry.
This is third one, man.
Third one.
They're going for sustain, and I'll just tell you one thing. Alice just pick up the cursed helmet. He did not have enough sustain, but at the same time, Zauzen getting engaged, and they're trying to overload him. He gets a knock up, gets lifted up, but still holding on to the skill. MEA is also there to support him, which also near the vicinity. They cannot really find the shutdown onto was a tanky high loss, and this is right before the Lord, so they need to play it out a bit safe. If they give another kill, there is a feather airstrike while Zodia trying to go out. Crimson Beacon already made it out. Both the ultimates from the mage will be on cooldown. The Lord is just 1 second away. It finally spawns Saktia, as well as you can see Dusty needs to be there for his team, right? And he's trying to open up the vision, but at the same time, family problem is in the bush, and Team IGN already knows about it. They are starting the Lord up. They're trying to take it or burst it down, or maybe bait Team Zohan to really overextend this so they can find a good advantage. But on the mid lane, Prime is really getting zoned out. You can see by the side of Zauzen all by himself, but at the same time, Mirio wants to find Saktia here. Then he goes in with the bravest fighter, and there will be the end of line for family problem. He gets taken down. Bridge finds the kill, but Valzodia will find Zauzen. At the same time, Crimson Beacon is still there, but it's not really enough for them to actually stop the advances of Team IGN. Respect again, and the creator going in and find a mega kill onto a Dusty, but Respect will get taken down, and the creator will also find another kill, but which will take down Valzodia at that point. IGN, Mirio is still there. He's trying to find the shutdown. Bravest fighter in, and he will find. No, it's Aaron, the creator, find the unstoppable on towards Saktia. The only member standing will be Prime, but Team IGN, they do not have the minions. They need to go back to the Lord and prolong this game.
They have to, because of course there were only 3 members and there was not enough wave pressure. That blazing duet you might just consider the fact that they were trying to shut the damage, but no, it also cleared out that minion pressure to the side of that X IGN had created. That blazing duet was the bane of existence, and it is going to exist a little bit longer as we get into the 16-minute mark of the game. Lord goes uncontested, of course, because there were no members online to go for it. Dusty only now came in, and because of the fact he just basically missed it out. Thankfully though, they still have 2 inhibitor turrets. Because of that, they can try to mitigate the Lord towards it, try to just make sure to bait it out, maybe force them to go a little bit aggressive, and IGN can make those mistakes where Zohan can prioritize, because this is where IGN will slowly get desperate, because if they wanna play that grand final qualifiers, they have to win this, and with the thirst to win, the drive to win comes desperation. With desperation comes rush of brain, and when that happens, you can make mistakes. That is what Zohan most likely should be trying. But let's see. Lord walking down that mid lane, and this might be the final push. There's no flank happening right here until now. Lord's in base. This might be the final call. Look at that, the fires are popping in, the damage is gonna be there, but I think this might be the final push.
Oh, Alan the Creator already locking the base. You can see they are trying to look for an end. There's a knock-up. Also, Captain fighting a shutdown, but Alan again with the monster kid is still there.
The base!
My GN are
The
trying
base!
to choke Team Zohan inside
The base!
It might be over. The
base!
base of Zohan will shatter, and with that, the last team from Mizoram, their hope will be falling, and this team IGN advancing to the lower bracket final, facing Team Lapu Kabi or Lapu X-Dab. Let's see what will turn around, but this will bring us to the end of the semi-final here, Ray.
Absolutely. Of course, we have so many things to say. I'm just gonna wish Zohan the best on their future endeavors. And right now, good luck, IGN. You have a grand final qualifier to play against Lafukabi. And with it, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take the break. We'll be back with the grand final qualifier. Stay tuned on Mizo Esports Association YouTube channel.
finals, and if you have your pets, then welcome to them as well, because this will be the match that you're looking for. It's not the grand finals yet, but this will be the lower bracket finals. So this is Team Dab x IGN going on against Team Lafu x Dab, both having a dab. I don't know if they're doing the pose or not of the dab, but again, we'll see how these two teams actually fight it out. This is a best of 5 series for this matchup. This is GRANDFEST 1 MEA x FEAI presenting to you, and you're watching this live from the Ardeng Tuama Hall. And as you know, this is a LAN event, and LAN event means that these teams are playing right from here in the stadium. So you'll soon be able to see the grand finale till tomorrow. Like, do stay tuned. This is a 3 days tournament and a lot of things alongside that. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to myself. I'm Shinryu. I'm gonna be the caster for this game, and I am joined by the one and only Mr. Ash TZ. So we'll see, and we'll bring this action live to you all. But Ash, you know, every time we talk about the drafts and everything, right? We have done this a lot. I think the hero bans mostly are very centric towards how the metas are there. We are not, you know, very out of the global meta that we look at. So anything different that stands out for you for both these teams?
Let's hear from the crowd.
Anything different?
Make some
No.
noise
Anything
for
same?
yours
It is
truly.
that they got clean swept by Busan Esports.
Wow, damn, fire shots.
It's okay, they got clean swept by them, but it's fine. Busan is waiting in the finals, and this is the last chance for both the teams to shine in this BO5 series, because we need to spot on to that grand finale stage, and it might be IGN x Dab or it might be Lafu x Dab. Okay, another similarity. Dab
I'm
is
telling you, that's why I asked you. Right?
sponsoring. Yeah,
I know the similarities, man. I was like, that's why I was asking you, what do you see the similar things at this point? But hey, the ban's still the same.
Thorns
The
remain.
1-1 will be denied towards Aaron here, and they did not want the CC to be in the hands of course, the one and only Blair the Dogman. So
Thorns
really
remain.
centric
Should
towards the
petals
matching or the winning matchup for the laning phase at least, right? You don't want Lancelot, the YSs to be up there, because both the teams, they can use it really flawlessly. I think Lafu x Tab, Jeffrey has a very good hero pool. Even with the assassins, he can really do a lot of things. Respect, I think you cannot count him out. He can play both the utility and he can play both the assassin. So both the teams have really flexibilities. So what flex pick would they want to go for, or will it be just a directly Zushin pick coming in from the side of
I will
IGN?
choose my own path.
IGN might be a thing, because if the Jushin is open, which said that if it will be open for me, I'll
I
just
will
pick it up
choose
for
my own path.
I mean my side, but yeah, Alot got banned. They don't want to give that Alot to Mirio right now. Okay, no Jushin though. Respect goes with the Bakshia here. That's a cool pick coming here, but you know, the Xbog is open. So do the Hayabusa. Even the Joy could be a good option for this against this Bakshia.
a lot of options, but let's just say this Bugsy as a flex pick right for now. It's not necessarily this has to go to the jungle. They can just try to put it into a different role, especially to the roaming section.
Zauzen.
So yeah, I mean, you know, Zauzen has a really good hero pool too. So it all boils down to the point how they want to play this game. Since this is the best of 5 series, the teams can actually adapt and actually see what works and what does not. I feel with this pick coming in from the side of IGN, Lafu will get some of the trades. I think a lot of the gold laners are open, a lot of the mid laners are open too, and even the EXP lane should be open. The Harith will be the first pick, and yes, you cannot let go of the Zushin. I told you, right, against the utility like the Baxia, the shield unity can be easily cancelled out with the Zushin's Lantern Flare.
A little bit, you can say that mental exercise being done by the side of Team Lafukabi here, and they actually won the draft. Having that Jushin into your side, even the Harith as well, you know that the Harith will actually give you the true damage after the Stardom Sky being in the item section. So it might be a good choice that this team, Lafu x Dab, are opting for. The picks are so rationalized, and in the meantime, we can see. Okay, I believe this is Baksha jungle. They're going with the Kimi utility picks are coming in. I mean the picks which can suit with the utility. Oh my goodness, Mirio with the Phobius. The thing is, like, how can you go with the Phobius when Alice is open? Like, it might be a chance.
It's not for the laning matchup. It's the counter against the Harith. solely for the countering against the Harith, because Fate, you already know, not Fate, I mean this is Crisis, right? You already know will be really monstrous with that Harith. So in order to counter that, they're picking this up, they're picking this hero to just have that, winning, not the winning in the lane fights or the laning phase, is more about winning those team fights here. When the 5v5 clash happens, I don't think so the EXP laner will be just marking each other down. They will be trying to go for the back line, right? And that's what Team Lapu also need. They need somebody to dive the back line. And there comes the Lapu Lapu, man.
And we were talking about the counter, and there is like Lapu Lapu is not the counter for Phobius. Phobius is the counter of Lapu. Now you can say that this Phobius will have infinite demonic charge, and then he can go with those infernal pursuits. But the one thing is, if we are talking about the team fights, there is a Jushin in the side of Lapu X Dab as well. So that means, and the Jushin will actually hinder that Phobius movements as well as the Bakshia.
I mean, the Zushin can only do so much, bro. The Zushin has limitation. You can lift people up, you can pick them off, but the mana will run out really quickly. You have to wait for a little bit of period of time to actually get your mana regen back. So that might be the enough time frame for this Phobius to do whatever he's trying to do to disrupt the front line or even the damage dealer, because the Harith has to go a bit melee, right? He can dash in and out with the chrono dashes, but at the very end, if he gets closer to Mirio here, that's where he will face problem. Yes, the Lapu Lapu can dive in. I'm telling you, the demonic charge will get fastly, charged in. But if you think about it, it's all about how well they can actually put this team fight or put the draft into the execution phase.
Okay, they banned the Hayabusa. Let's talk about the draft. So they banned the Hayabusa. And now there is a chance that you might be right again, because having the Bakshia, it's a flex, of course, and it can be in the hand of Zolzan, it can be in the hand of Meteor, or it can be in the hand of Respect. The Meteor already picked up that Phobius. Let's just say this Phobius is going to the EXP. Bakshia onto the roam. Might be a chance that we're gonna see a Joy, because the Haya is banned, Lance is banned, Ishinshin as well. So it's like 3 core assassin, 3 meta assassins are right now taken out. One is there due to the skin buff, and it is Joy, and it will be taken out as well. GG, that's been, you're wrong this time. Okay, I was like, if the Bakshia is going to jungle, you're right. If it's not going to the I'm sorry, if the Bakshia is going to the roam, you're right. Then if it's not going, then you're wrong. Then that means the Bakshia is going to the jungle, but Xbox is open.
Xbox is open, but will Lafu Kabi or Lafu X-Tab want to go for that or not is the big question, because the Assassin's Band are really important, because they want this Gimme to actually be online, actually be viable in the map, because Witch does need that safe gameplay. He needs the scaling to be done. He needs to prioritize those items. Against the Zushin, he has enough DPS to actually try and poke down them, and also go kind of deny the gatekeeping the Zushin does in terms of those objective takes and everything. But here comes a Kacha from the side of Lafu X-Tab. PYZ will be using that hero, but at the same time, this is a denial pick on towards Thousand. They have already banned off the Mathilda, meaning that Thousand might have to take up the high loss, because last time he did that. But another hero that is open would be the Grog, which is another good option for them, and even the Kalea. But okay, they're actually picking up the Grog, so these are the options that he could have gone for. The Grog is really good, but for the gold lane, they can go for the Moscow. They can go for even, I think, the Aerothil is another good option. But if they want, they can also go for the Esmeralda.
Might be an Esmeralda, or it's like, I heard you saying that
tanky though.
Too much tanky, as well as there is a Harith, so I don't feel like Esmeralda should be there. It may like Esmeralda can come up with Lunox. What about the Lunox? But no, it's Aaron the God, the creator, going with the Moscow. I was hoping for the show of the Granger. It's not like, okay, the Granger is banned, so of course he will be going with that Moscow pick.
Yeah,
what about the Aerothil? So good with the Aerothil as well.
I don't see the Aerothil coming off so often, right? I feel the Aerothil was really good up until a certain time. A lot of the teams was trying to go and counter even the Granger as well as the Harith. But recently the the pick has been really off for a lot of the teams. They're not really opting for that. They're going for a different kind of picks. But will we see a surprising pick coming from the Lafu X-Tab? Oh yes, we will. Guinevere jungle. Really 3 magic centric heroes, but still I like the Guinevere, because you know why? The frontliners, if they get CC locked, if they get chain CC'd by the lineup of Team Lafu X-Tab, it's really difficult for them to actually sustain the overall damage that this lineup will deal towards them. But at the same time, they need the scaling on towards the Harith, man.
Let me tell you something. The Queenie is an utility jungler. So too the Bakshia, and we all know that the magic penetration is the only thing that can sustain or that can penetrate out that Bakshia utility, as he will be standing like a frontliner, just like the Povius and the Grok will. But the thing is, I mean, will the special migration thing will also give that demonic charge that unlimited infernal pursuit to the Phobias. Look at there, so many dive-in charge heroes. Queenie, Gatot, Lapu. Even, I mean, if you would just count the Crimson Bacon as a dive-in, then it will be Jushin as well. Harith is full of dives, bro. Full of dives, full of blinks. This guy is having the Crimson Bacon. This guy is having the Synchronophasion. Everything is like Chrono Dashes, Synchronophasion. Everything is full of dives. So it's like this is like, I mean, you know what? Phobius going to have a big treat. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MEA FEAI GRANDFEST Season 1. We are right now watching lower bracket finals going between Team DABX IGN versus Team Lafu X Tab, and this is the best game because the team will be winning, will be granting the second slot for the final where Bushan is waiting, but already the skirmish is here.
Yeah, there's a bit of poke damage. You can see already the Kimi being viable. This is the early game. The Kimi can actually poke down the members really good, really efficiently. However, I feel with Zauzen, he can actually try and even push the pressure a little bit more. But for PYZ, he can try and sustain the damage. He has already used the Revitalize really early on, but it should be back up. Not too much of a loss already for Lafu X Tab. This is still the game number 1 for this best of 5 series. We have a long way to go. However, whoever wins the game 1 should get a bit of a head start in terms of the momentum, in terms of the overall mindset in a game, in a best of 5 series that you need. But at the same time, you can see a lot of rotation being made towards the bot lane. They want to just open up the vision, but Crisis is still okay. They have to wait for the turtle here, Ash.
Crisis, and then we have Blair the Dogman. Dogman is really good with the rotation. That's what I'm saying. His Lapu doesn't stick to on lane. He just give the quick rotation to the mid as well as to the jungle of the opponent side. That will be the biggest hindrance you can provide to a jungler. But this time it's not Ishan Chin or Lancelot in the hand of respect. It is a Bakshia. I mean, if something happen, I'll just sing Kumar, but not for respect.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he can give that move to us or not. But now, as the river is spawning, that means it's the time for the first neutral objective to appear in the Land of Dawn. Yes, it is here, and the turtle dance already started from the side of Team Lafu X.
Yeah, PYZ getting a bit of overloaded with the damage. He does not have the AoG still. Again, the turtle is really low. He's gonna get Retribution. There will be Blair, the Dogman, stealing it out with the Retribution. There's a wild Retribution at the same time. The first blood will be falling, and PYZ will find another kill. 2 for 1 is the trade, but it's not gonna stop there. Zozo will get taken down with the double kill, and it's still ongoing. PYZ does not have a way out. He's still trying to sustain, and sees with that will be a triple kill, which picks up the Sky Piercer at the same time.
Bro, I mean, it's just the start of the game. The first turtle, they just lost it to Blair the Dogman. But then what happened? Witch. I mean, this man is really, I call him the witch, but he's really showing that potential in this game. Shinryu, I mean, 3 kills in a way. The Sky Piercer stack will be 20 at this point.
No. The Sky Piercer came after the skills. So after the 3rd kill, so the Sky Piercer still has 0 stack so far.
Okay.
So it's still time for them to actually go and capitalize on that. So, I mean, 3 kills.
Then this is pure witch power because he doesn't stole the kills with the Sky Piercer.
He didn't steal the kill. He didn't steal the skill, of course, right? He got it completely with his proper damage dealing, and I know you have to give, right? He was with Zauzen. There was nobody else to actually try and get the kills, and he should get the kills because he's the main carry. If you see the rest of the 3 members, only Aaron the Creator can dish out the damage, but it's way too early for him to try and do something. He should be farming in his lane, making sure that Crisis is in check, not really getting the lead in terms of gold as well as EXP here, Ash.
Of course, and talking about the EXP, I mean, we didn't see that Mirio gave that rotation. As you mentioned, like the Phobius will giving the more rotation, it will not be sticking to the one lane. That's the main thing. The Blair, the Dogman, came into the turtle fight and helped the team to secure the turtle. And talking about the turtle fight, it's like we're talking about right now and another turtle coming in. So the time is so fast and the game is going so fast as well. But these two teams need to grab on the win if they wants to be in the final. Second turtle again on the top side. Grok, I mean Zozen being there to zone out perfectly onto the Lafukabi members, but there you go. Blair the Dogman once again going in. Mirio goes in with 8 pursuit. Crimson making popped up. Retreat popped up as well. It is free. Sony connected out of the creature coming in. Mirio with the infernal pursuit. Out of the creature taking the kill here. Out of falls down. Gato as well. Victory the mega kill. Getting over on top at this moment. Mirio again entering. But the 12 phase the free. Taking the kill. Double happen. Triple happen. Lapu fall. Can it be a maniac? No! And the creator will be taking out Zephyr and will be going for the first mid-tier. What happened? And the creator, Rich and Mirio happens.
Absolutely, man. This is the Creator Brothers, but again, Crisis wants to go in, but he gets bursted down. It's too much damage for him. Can he sustain his response? So, which will find the roll on towards him, and he will be rolling back to the base once again. Lafu X-Dab really taking the big L in that team fight. They could not really anticipate the damage that can come out of team IGN, and this is where they're actually giving a lot of kills to the Switch again. But there is the big tectonic charge for him at 1000, but again AOG comes in, respect is stuck in. At the same time, which is there, he can chunk down the HP really quick. No more Violet Requiem means that they need to back out. Thousands fall though, 1 kill for the side of Lafu X-Dab, so they still walk out with some kind of trade, so it's still worth it for them despite losing the turtle, despite giving a lot of kills. They are still a bit in this game, given the fact that they need to cover up the gold, they need to cover up some of the objective, or not the objective, but the structures around the map. They have already given the mid-tier one. This opens up the map a lot more, right?
Lot more for the IGN. They are in the bigger trade right now. Even though they lost 2 neutral objective, doesn't matter, Shinryu. They got the mid-tier, they got so many kills. And which is getting the kills? This is deadly. The Kimi with the Sky Piercer is getting the kill. SOD connected. Aaron comes first before Crisis can come. This is the advantage of SOD. I mean, simultaneously you can push the lane as well as you can join in the team fight. Another river spawning, that means you know what is coming. Turtle and fight is also coming with this, and I'm damn sure that it will be team Lafu X-Dab finding this turtle for him. But
okay, there is the tectonic charge already being used for a safer play. Again, the flicker out, but look at the backline. Mirror the Creator trying to just disrupt the backline, but again, there will be the full-on fight brawl breaking out. The turtle is really low, but again, the Zephyr will be able to rotate down. But Crisis with the Zaman Force doing a lot of damage, but Mirio will find a kill. Godlike or Witch, he's trying to take down more members. Double kill, and Aaron the Creator will find a turret down. But Witch, Sky on him, eyes on him. He finds another triple, making the magic happen. And Team Lafu X-Dab really falling behind. The goal is just reaching the 5k mark 7 minutes into the game.
bro, this Jet Trooper and the Witch, everything is like, I mean, hell a lot for the side of Lafu X-Dab at this moment, because Witch is like the sniper.
He's not getting the maniac.
Yeah. And oh, what you? My goodness. Zephyr falls down in a 1v2.
No man, it's Crisis. He fell down.
Oh, sorry, it's Crisis. Yeah, Crisis fell down.
Yeah, but look at the turrets, right? They're not really standing. IGN with the full push.
And what happened to IGN? They're right now so mad. They're not giving any chance to flinch even. They're just dominating their side. Look at Zozen. Even that fight, if you'll see Zozen's tectonic charge comes up. That was so quick, so good, knocking off 2 members. Even though, I mean, Witch went a little bit extra, secured the triple kill. It's like, Aaron, you need to give him a maniac, bro. You have a lot of maniac because of him, but today it's the Witch day, guys. The Witch is playing his game.
Yeah, man, he's 9 kills in. I think this should have given him 60 stack on his Sky Piercer, right? Because it's really, really important for him to get that early game in the bag. with this, IGN has been able to completely maintain that early game lead. We are soon heading into the mid to late game spot where the teams have to go, but yeah, there will be the traction pulse connecting on towards 1. You can see the itemization is really close, but the more towards the lead for Team IGN. They're soon going to complete 3 items, already 3 for which almost you can see Zauzen trying to just get more defensive at this point, making sure he can kind of sustain, but at the same time turrets are falling really fast from the right, Ash, and with no second tier down there, it's really difficult. And for Team IGN, they're staking the lot, means that there will be more pressure. We have to make sure these teams are still in the perfect condition to play this game, because this is a really important one, right? We do not want any kind of fluctuations, any kind of disruptions for their gameplay. They have to be solely focused, therefore the pauses has been taken here. But we need to break down what happened, man. Why LaFuXDab has been so startled by the mere presence of Team IGN?
Mere presence of Team IGN or mere presence of Mirio and Witch? I mean, this duo is doing so great at this point. If you'll actually see, Respect and Zozen are standing like a wall, and the backliner, 2 backliner and the creator as well as Witch are propelling those damages to them and securing those kills, for securing those macro for them. Even the macro is not they're not living the macro as well, so everything is settled right now, macro, micro, and this is the gameplay we're talking about, the dominance of IGN. I told you, like even though Lafukabi went for that Guinevere to bust out the Bakshia, but there is a Kimi, there is a Phobius, there is a Moskov, and maybe like Blair the Dogman is going for the engages so good, but it's like he's not getting sustained with his magic penetration. I mean, 60 stack onto the Sky Piercer. Can you just think about it? The penetration is so high that even even Blair the Dogman and Crisis cannot sustain it properly.
You know what is more about the item difference at this point? The gold being in the side of Team IGN means that they have more items, right? More items mean more damage. It's very difficult for these heroes to actually try and sustain. Yes, they have a really good lineup, but the Harith too depends upon his power spike item. He at least needs 3 of those items to go and finish off those kills really easily. He can do a lot with 2, but 3 is minimum for him to a full 5v5 fight in team fight for this objective takes. However, I think Aaron the creator with those SOD has been there in those crucial team fights, with him being in those team fight, really making sure that the damage output is really high, because Witch alone cannot deal enough damage into those team fight. He is taking the kills, he's getting the kills, he got 2 times triple kill, right? He's not getting the maniac, does not mean he's chasing the kills. He's able to find the kill players at the low HP at the right spot and poke them down. Those poking every time is so important, because you can see Zauzen disrupting the backline. You can see there is Mirio also always tailing those infernal pursuit. Every time you can get the knockouts, and also there's jumps onto the member.
Hey,
this is so difficult, and we will be heading back into the land of Dawn. The issues have been fixed. Team IGN will still find this slot. LaFuXDab, they're really far away from taking it. Game number 1, this is, ladies and gentlemen, and you can see the score after 9 minutes and 20 seconds. 14 for 4. IGN with the lead. 7k into their bag. This could be a very well end, but I don't think so it can be ending this fast, because the holy defense, as you can see, is already there, meaning they can still defend this, Ash.
Holy Blessings will be defending out those Lord, but if there will be, okay, we'll be having another pause here. Technical issues might be, and it will be getting resolved as soon as possible, guys. But let's talk about the draft more, and having the Moscow. I mean, I told you they have like 1, 2, 3 people who can dive into the backline with the Moscow as well. So Moscow is a kind of MM. I always say that. I mean, it's contributing both sides, into the team fight as well as into the split push. Whereas Harith, he needs some time to join the team fight, so he need that continuous rotation and that goal spike as well. As you mentioned, the goal spike, the 14-4 difference in the micro, you can also smell the thing like the level gap Team IGN is giving right now to LaFuXDab. That's the main reason Lafukabi's lineup is not sustaining against this IGN's lineup, because they are right now reigning with those gold, reigning with those levels as well. But I think the pause will be getting resolved soon, because here we are, guys, back into the game, and So far, I can say that the Lord marching on the mid or top. Okay, he's going into the mid, obviously. Record spamming. Okay, a little bit of trap coming in. SOD missed out.
Jeffrey is taken down. The traction pulse will bring back Zozo. Crimson Beacon already out, but PYZ, I think he's still not back into the game. He's still lagging
Knock
here.
off.
Double kill for Wish, and PYZ will get falling down here. And Blair the Dogman is also standing out there. It seems like there is some issue still, but it's a maniac for Wish. They are going for
Crisis.
lane. Crisis is still trying to defend the space, but it's too late. Team IGN is so savage for Wish, but it's not worth it because Team Lovely that they're not really being able to move, but this should be the probable end. There is Jeffrey back in the map, and he's trying to go for the sustain, but no, another savage for Wish, and this should let them crack open the base much more. The minions are still marching in, Traction Pulse once again, but the end at the table, right? Team IGN should be getting this game under their bag. With all those minions, Lovely Stab cannot really clear them fast enough, and that, ladies and gentlemen, will bring an end to the game number 1. And we will see Team IGN leading the series.
Yeah, of course, and we'll be taking a short break. We'll be coming soon with the next game as well, and we'll be resolving the issues coming to us. So please be there, stay tuned with us, don't go anywhere, we'll be coming back.